hardware.
Trophy sits in my office, and
ESPN presents exclusive coverage of NCAA Championship Lacrosse. The fans are here at Rutgers Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey, getting ready for the titanic matchup of the season. The fans are backing their teams and coming in to the biggest festival lacrosse has each year. It's the number 2 seeded Princeton Tigers taking on the number 1 seed and defending champion Syracuse Orangemen. Hi everyone, I'm Leif Elsmo. I'll be bringing you the play-by-play, joined by former All-American in the goal, Quint Kesselnick from Hopkins. And Quint, this is the matchup everybody talked about, number 2 against number 1.
Well, last year, walking away from this title game, you had to say, hey, look at Princeton, look at Syracuse. They'll be back in the title game, and they are. These two teams have combined for 11 of the last 13 men's lacrosse titles.
Of course, Quint, it's not that easy. You just don't show up. Each team had to fight to get here through some great competition. Let's take a look at Princeton's road to the final through the playoffs.
Princeton are the Ivy League champions. They beat Loyola 8-7 in the quarters, and then on Saturday against Towson, they got off to a great start. They led 10-6 in the fourth quarter, but Towson, with their speed, with their tenaciousness, they came back to tie at 11. 2 minutes to go in the game. Sean Hartopolis, his 4th goal of the game, and Princeton advances to the finals.
And of course, this Princeton team is known for great defense, and the defense this year is led by a senior, Ryan Mollett.
Ryan Mollett, he's the defensive traffic cop choreographing the patented slide packages. You'll see Princeton double and triple team often on defense. Mollett's got 2 goals, 4 assists on the season, a ton of ground balls. He blocks passes. He plays up on the wings of faceoffs. He's really a dominating player. Hard to ignore a guy like Ryan Mollett.
Well, Ryan Mollett will lead Princeton's defense. Of course, Syracuse has a great defense of their own. Syracuse struggled a little bit. They had 2 losses in the regular season, but this team from Syracuse gets real serious in May.
And they are scoring goals right now. They put up 18 in the quarterfinals against Hofstra, and then in the semis against Notre Dame, Chris Searcy got him going. Mike Springer had a career day with 6 goals. They got some great defensive plays, the best Syracuse defense in many years, and they cruised 12-5 over the Fighting Irish.
Syracuse has so many weapons on the offensive end. Kaufman, Powell, Banks, Springer. In the semis, Banks and Powell, no goals, but 7 assists. Another guy stepped up and had a big day.
Mike Springer, what a great target he is. 6'4", 215 pounds, career day with 6 goals. They call him the stealth bomber because of his outside shot. He can shoot the ball over 100 miles an hour. But against Notre Dame, he positioned himself inside. He only took 9 shots and had 6 goals.
Well, in every Titanic matchup, every championship, there's great head-to-head battles. In our face-to-face today, we're taking you to the face-off circle, where Chris Searcy has dominated all year. Searcy is sensational. Matt Baylor will somehow try to slow him down.
Searcy's a real tactician, a student of the game, 70%. He can get Syracuse on the multi-goal runs, the 3- and 4-goal runs. Baylor struggling to get 50% on the season. I think one of the keys for Princeton is going to be to stop Syracuse right off the draw. Don't give them any fast breaks and try to get 50%.
Okay, there's the matchups. We're going to come back with the opening draw, the face-off in just a moment. These teams are ready. Mike Powell has his family members on his tape, and of course the Princeton band is getting behind their team. We're set for number 1 against number 2.
Sure, a little bit of a partly cloud situation, but I would say ideal situation to play lacrosse, Quint.
Yeah, we had some rain all week long. It rained every day here in New Jersey. And there's Princeton senior goalie, Trevor Tierney, son of Coach Bill Tierney.
He's got a 5.5 goals against, tremendous goalie, but he's got a great defense in front of him.
Well, I tell you, he played sensationally in the semifinals against Towson, many times making in-tight saves. Princeton's defense is spectacular. The knock on them may be that they give up high-quality shots, and Tierney, with a terrific save percentage, a lot of poise and leadership behind that defense.
And of course, on the other end of the field, as you look at Tierney down, getting set for the biggest game of his career, the senior. On the other end, and also a senior, Mulligan, his 3rd year as a starter. He's got great seasoned years here, but a big defense in front of him.
Oh, I tell you, this defense is about 6'3" on average. They play a very aggressive style. They love to throw the body around. Against Notre Dame, they were just overpowering inside, and then on the perimeter, they showed their speed. Mulligan was sharp in the semifinals.
Those are the key players as you look at Mulligan get set in the goal. 162 saves, about 60% on the save percentage, and about 8 goals against on average this year. Baylor against Searcy in the middle of the field. Watch the wing play. O'Leary, McNabb, Cohen, and Whittlesberger are your referees. Right off the face-off, Searcy comes right down, and the defense with Torney leading the check gets the ball back. That was textbook the way we thought it would go, and the defense came up big.
Searcy's got about 3 or 4 moves. One of them, he pops it forward to himself, but credit the Princeton defense. They stayed back in their tight triangle and kept the ball on the perimeter.
Princeton with the black jerseys, Syracuse in the white tops, blue shorts. And now Princeton sets up their first offensive set. We expect them to take a little bit of time. I don't think they want to play 60 minutes with Syracuse. They'd like to have more of a 30, 40-minute game. But this was a pretty aggressive set. They're coming in for their first shot. Coming around in, Rob Mulligan makes a great save. Tremendous block on the shot by Ryan Boyle.
Off with a loose ball. Boyle scooped it up behind the cage. Look at the keys for Syracuse. In the settled situations, they need to spin the rock, work for the good shot, 3 or more passes. They need to operate fast on offense, push the transition, but then be patient against the Princeton slowdown tactics. Don't be over-aggressive on defense.
Syracuse sets up their second offense. This is the first settled one. Liam Banks, number 3, Springer 10, Powell 22 will start on the offensive end against the defense led by Mollett, number 6, Farrell 24, Davey Davis 25. That shot wide was from one of the sensational midfielder units. You've got Wright, number 6, Brian Soliday 9, and Josh Kaufman 32. And on the season, Quint, this midfield unit shot more shots than the attack unit did.
They had the green light to shoot from as far out as 16 yards. They're all big, strong athletes, and they can bring it. They love to shoot for the pipes, and they draw a lot of attention, which opens up things down below for guys like Powell and Banks.
Soliday gets a lot of attention. Cutting through, back door's wide open. Wright comes in, and he puts it right into the stick of Tierney. Great save by Trevor Tierney.
Great save, and then also a real gritty effort in controlling his rebound. Look at the keys for Princeton. The magic number here, I believe, is 10 goals. They need to get to 10 and keep Syracuse below 10. And who will be the hat-trick hero? Every year for Princeton, someone emerges as the offensive star. My guess would either be Sean Hartopoulos or B.J. Prager.
Mollett comes down and hand delivers the ball to the attack for Princeton, which is 12 Prager, 14 Boyle, and number 20 Hartopoulos. We see that first offensive midfield unit of number 1 Torty, 15 McCall, and number 30 Strebel, who was an attackman last year. Right now, working from the side, 22 Brad Dumont, who has spent a lot of time out there too. Dan Clark 21, Owen Daly 3. Right now Dumont working against the short stick defense of Kaufman. Kaufman, an offensive player, defensive end now. You got Stetson, number 4, playing short stick midfielder. He doesn't have the long pole, but he's great defensively, and he'll play most of his game with his defensive end. I
think Syracuse has the advantage down below in those matchups. John Glatzel against Boyle, but up top, that's where Princeton's going to attack.
Princeton gets the first goal with Brad Dumont going one-on-one with Kaufman. Kaufman looking for help, talking to his defense, saying, I need to get any slide. And Mulligan calls in the guys, but Dumont set that up beautifully. He had Kaufman, the offensive star, tremendous athlete. He set him up. There was no defensive slide. They got a great shot with good location.
No double team. They leave Kaufman on an island. Dumont's a left-hander, so he'll bring it back to his left. On the run, fires it high. His 6th goal of the season. You see all the Syracuse defense inside. They don't help. The ball's here. He gains the inside leverage. And look, no one double teams, giving Dumont a great look at the cage. Mulligan, the Syracuse goalie, helpless as Dumont got to right in front of the cage.
Second face-off of the day. This one picked up again by Syracuse. Taking their time, moving the ball up. Montavis brought the ball down. Montavis, again, 2 possessions in the face-offs. The first one, Good save on a fast break, actually a good check. Second possession was a big save by Trevor Tierney, and now they set up for their third possession of the game.
It was essential for Princeton to get off to a good start. The recent history in this series, they have not. Syracuse has come flying out of the gate and dominated the first quarter.
And I think maybe the tactic that was exposed there was that they went to the goal pretty early. They didn't hold the ball too long. Looking into the crease to Springer, but Springer got a big check early on from the Princeton Brian Lieberman, number 43. Right away, in transition. Princeton moving the ball down to the defense of Syracuse.
An important factor here for Princeton is going to be to keep the Syracuse offensive midfielders on the field to play defense. They believe that that's where they want to attack. They want to keep guys like Januszkiewicz, guys like Kaufman on the field and exploit them defensively.
Here's a tactic we'll see a lot of today. They've inverted their middies behind the goal. Strebel there playing against the short stick defenders.
Tighten up, tighten up.
Here Mulligan barking out signals to his defenders.
Strebel,
Great shot from a feed on the wing, and it was Owen Daly putting that one in. He rolled inside of Strebel. The attention was on Strebel. Daly slid inside, 2-0 Princeton.
Daly from Strebel. The invert package works well. You'll see Strebel carry right-handed here, and then Daly, who's behind the goal, will sneak right-handed right here, and the defense gets caught up in the goal. It just gains a little step, and a beautiful shot to the far post. Nicely done. Desko on the sidelines, got to be shaking his head, say, hey, defense, tighten up. We need to help some of our midfielders out.
Seriously, with the third faceoff, they've done well there, but it hasn't counted for any goals, and that's what Princeton wants. They get the third faceoff in a row, but Bill Tierney said faceoffs don't scare him as much as what you do afterwards. And there's a great save by Tierney again. He's going to have the game of his life, and he started off with just that. He's been perfect.
Bontades, number 11, off the faceoff on a delayed break. Princeton thought they had their matchup. Bontades snuck in the middle, took the feed from Banks. Princeton been outscored by Syracuse 14-2 in the first quarter of the last 3 games. A real big point of emphasis by Bill Tierney. Get off to a good start, and then we can play Princeton-style lacrosse.
The first quarter has been the devastating quarter for the offense for Syracuse, as you mentioned. Bill Tierney has this game unfolding exactly the way he wanted to, as Rob Torrey brings the ball down.
And getting to Rob Mulligan, Syracuse's goalie, the emotional goalie. He's a streaky goalie. You must get to him early. When he gets hot early, he can become unstoppable late.
Oh, technical time delay of some sort on the sideline. Some infraction gives the ball back to Mulligan and the defense for Syracuse. But absolutely, he has been rocked early. Great location on the 2 shots. And if you notice the shots for Syracuse, not great location. Good saves, but not great location.
No, and Tierney's strength to me is down low, down at his feet. We saw it in the semifinals against Towson. You need to pump him low and then jack the ball high in the upper portions of the goal.
Stetson brings the ball down. The senior defensive specialist will come off the field now as Kaufman takes it behind. That's Mikey Powell giving the ball back to Liam Banks. They'll take it around with a good control set, trying to get another shot on Tierney.
Princeton playing defense without Kyle Balger, one of their short stick midfielders, broke his wrist in the semifinals.
Good defensive check for Princeton. They don't let Soliday sit there with the ball. Winship Ross went right after him and put the ball back on the grass surface. Lieberman brings the ball up. And Princeton just controlling every aspect of this game. Sean Hartopoulos with a lot of move. They are a little bit more aggressive than you might expect, Princeton, at the offensive end. And that, I'm sure, was part of Bill Tierney's plan. Again, isolating the short sticks behind. Kaufman.
This is where they're patient. They usually throw the ball around for about 10 or 15 seconds. Recognize the matchups, spread the field, and then attack.
Going against Kaufman, who already has been on one. There's a slide by Saul Bliss. Saul Bliss came early this time to help Kaufman out. But look at the ride by Princeton, getting back possession.
Bliss throwing his body around, made 2 huge checks.
Good job for Princeton to put their back to the charging slides. Ryan Boyle looking for an open man. Back to Hartopoulos. Boyle will settle the ball. Harrington up top. Princeton looking absolutely perfect in their game plan through the early parts of this game.
You had to wonder in the second half of the Syracuse-Notre Dame game, a half of lacrosse that just ground to a halt, how that would affect Syracuse. Remember, Towson took Princeton to the limits. They had them on the ropes. That was an extremely taxing game for Princeton. They're showing no effects, though.
Kaufman again playing defense. This time he's got Brad Dumont, who scored against Kaufman early on. He's working from behind on the short stick. Mulligan tried to steal it, out of position. Now he's got to reset, and he makes the block. Good job against Dan Clark for Mulligan to get reset. And Kaufman gets the ball off the grass.
Nice angle play by the goalie, Rob Mulligan. But Kaufman's gotten beat twice now behind the cage playing defense.
Glatzel comes down, finally gives it up. Right down low, Mikey Powell back door to Liam Banks. He handcuffs him. It'll be a Princeton ball. Syracuse looking very tight, not making the best decisions as Princeton makes all the right moves so far in this game. Bill Tierney calm for the moment. Everything unfolding perfectly for the Tigers. 14th season at Princeton.
5 national championships in the 90s.
Strebel played attack last year in this very game, was the go-to guy. This year coming off as a midfielder. And now they got Abendroth on him, so better matchups this time for Syracuse.
Yes, Abendroth usually plays the best midfielder on the opponent. He's done a great job against Hofstra. He tied up All-American Doug Shanahan. This is the matchup they want, though. Take Dan Stessen to the goal. Make him play defense.
He's got Torty, great offensive midfielder. Strebel gets behind, but he's got Abendroth working him hard. Crease play, very aggressive behind him. Abendroth not giving Strebel much room. Good power move by Strebel. Left-handed shot, and he's beaten Mulligan again. Mulligan shell-shocked with the precision of the Princeton shots. They're up 3-0.
The shooting here, they are on fire right now. In the semis, they only had 1 non-assisted goal. We've already had 2. Watch Strebel. This will be what's called an inside roll. He'll post up, much like a center in basketball, turn, and fire to the low corner. Beautiful, beautiful placement. You see, the key here is that he gets high. He gives himself an angle right to this seam right there. Turns to the inside. Not yet, actually. He'll drive up right-handed. Now he'll turn for his left. The key is he gives himself an angle right there and nails the far corner.
Back to our live face-off. Searcy again on the fast break. They need a good shot. Springer trying to get inside, does not get a quick shot, and they'll have to settle down. So they're getting face-offs, but they're not getting any quality shots. Tierney turning back whenever they do get on goal, and Princeton's just doing a great job of cutting off any kind of fast break.
They really are slow to slide to double-team Searcy off that face-off. Searcy's got 4 goals on the season. They would much rather have him handle the ball, certainly, than a guy like Powell or Liam Banks.
Liam Banks right now with Brian Mollett playing defense on him. Banks backing in. Known as the quarterback of this great offensive unit. An offensive unit that has been shell-shocked and sort of shut out here in the first 10 minutes of this game. Double team. A lot of motion on Sean Lindsay, the good-looking freshman. And there's a crease violation. They stepped in the circle. It'll go to Princeton.
You see Kyle Bogger on the sideline, number 34, one of the real stalwarts defensively for Princeton. He was out there. This guy is a great short-stick midfielder. He broke his wrist late in the semifinal game, and they're going to go to 3 or 4 players in his absence. Guys like Brad Dumont, and Owen Daly, and Rob Torty.
Daly gets the ball up to the attack end of the field. Will McCall can get behind, and again, this is a matchup. The invert, they've done it almost every time down, and the invert's what they go to here. Brett Walford, sophomore, playing defense.
Get up right, Brett!
Brett gets held up, ball up top, shot by Daly, and off the pipe. He rocked it off the iron, he beat Mulligan again. Mulligan has been totally ineffective early in this game. Princeton just picking their spots. That time the iron, they've got some numbers here. Mikey Powell looks down, Liam Banks to his right. He's got Banks. Banks shoots, but he gets it blocked by, guess who? Ryan Mollett right there to make the check. Princeton fast breaking the other way. Hartopoulos, rocket, and the 4th goal of the day. Princeton is playing Syracuse style, and they're beating him at it right now.
Hartopoulos with the counterattack. Loves that sidearm shot. No goal. On the far side in the referee's box, they're waving the goal off. That's Desko. The referees cannot believe it. The goal is being waved off. Must have been a substitution violation or an offsides call.
Whoa.
No goal by Sean Hartopoulos. It's still 3-0.
Goal or not, Princeton has taken Syracuse out of everything they plan to do. They are dominating the game on both ends of the field. Liam Banks, Springer. And Syracuse, the roles look reversed, Quinn. They're very careful with the ball, as you would expect Princeton to be. And Princeton very aggressive with their shots. Not much of an angle for Mike Powell.
One of our keys, ball movement, multiple passes. Right now, Syracuse looking for the isolation.
Moving in quickly, Prager down low. Hartopoulos drops it back, and they almost got the big shot from Rod Torti. Here comes Princeton. Do they have enough legs to get a fast break? They don't have the numbers because Princeton sends in the defense. They'll have to pull back. Princeton is refusing to give them transition. And Princeton has gotten enough of their own. Look at the ball right into the middle of the defense. Picked up easily. Ball being batted around. Joe Rosenbaum. Syracuse can't catch him. The wheels of Princeton, the transition style, absolutely shocking Syracuse with its effectiveness.
Syracuse looking to press Rosenbaum here.
All down, here they go. St. George can't connect with Abendroth, and Ryan Mallett will be there to pick it up. The classy senior gets it off the turf and gives it right to Richard Ross, who will collect his thoughts, and they get to Damian Davis for the clear. Davis throws it out of bounds. A little bit of raggy play there as Syracuse gets the ball back, but Syracuse very uncomfortable with Princeton dominating play.
Coach John Desko in his third season. Look at the winning percentage. The defending champions. He was an assistant coach here for 19 seasons under Roy Simmons Jr. He's been part of this program for more than 25 years.
Syracuse with John Desko was down to Hofstra in the quarterfinal game by 3, Quinn.
8-4, down by 4 in the second quarter. They rallied to make it 8-7 at half.
A little tougher against the Princeton Tigers, who can really start playing their kind of defense, making it tough to get the good shots.
Syracuse has not found their comfort zone on offense. I think that'll come with time. Princeton's defense, very unique. The quick double teams, you need multiple ball movement. 3 or 4 passes.
Dennis Cavich gets the ball up top to Hardy. Hardy had 1 goal in the semifinal against pretty tough competition with Notre Dame. Liam Banks behind, trying to set up against Ryan Mallett. Squeezing in front, pushing a shot that really wasn't a high-quality shot. Banks, normally a distributor. That's tough for the little Liam Banks to come in there at 5'11", 165, and power in for a shot.
Mike Powell of Syracuse is being shut off by Damian Davis. He's denying him access to the ball, and I think that's affecting the flow of the entire Syracuse offense.
Mike Powell normally in the middle of a triangle shooting scheme where he'll redistribute to somebody else, and with his speed and great vision can normally give you a pretty good shot. So maybe Princeton saying, let's take that middleman out of the transition to the goal. Only a minute and 48 left. Look at the clock winding down, and Syracuse yet to get their game feet on. They're not comfortable at all as Princeton has dominated from the opening whistle.
The other marquee matchup, John Glatzel of Syracuse, one of the best defenders in the country, covering Ryan Boyle. Boyle's really content to sit back and kind of watch this game to really lure Glatzel out of the action.
Chris Harrington behind on Stetson. This is the matchup they like. Harrington, the senior. Back door. They tried to get it to Dan Clark. St. George with a last-minute check. Ryan Boyle, the freshman, who really gives some stability to the attack, gives the ball behind as they continue the invert strategy. Dan Clark behind with Chris Harrington. They used this strategy in the first matchup this year and did it effectively, kind of came out of it and ended up losing the game by 6 goals.
They fell behind early, and it's tough to be so patient when you're looking at a deficit.
Well, Mulligan makes a big save, see if they can capitalize. I'm sure Tierney's looking at the clock saying we had it going pretty good. Let's not give them another chance, but Syracuse will have time to get a shot. They have not really been looking comfortable on the offensive end, but they're going to have a chance here. 29.2 shots per game, and Syracuse attempts 45. So he's got to give somewhere in the middle there. This game might unfold, but right now Princeton's really dictating how many shots they get, and they haven't been good shots. Time winding down as Syracuse has Dennis Cavich comes back, looks for Winship Ross's defensive check inside. Dennis Cavich trying to go right through 3 guys. Really a terrible decision for Dennis Cavich. He tried to go through 3 players. You cannot do that against most teams, much less Princeton. You're not going to be able to just walk in and take a shot. Princeton really dominating and getting into the heads of the Syracuse offense. We'll come back with quarter number 2. Right now, the Tigers own the momentum and lead 3-0. Go back to Rutgers Stadium. Lee Felsbaum, Quint Kessenich, 3-0 Princeton. The score, domination on the field. They've really dominated time of possession, and the strategy has been perfect. Bill Tierney, known for a defensive strategist and known as a team that really likes to control the ball. Well, he's a coach that also knows if his team has to score a lot of goals, he feels they can do it.
We think that we can run with anybody. The only thing that's ever held us back from that is me. And we've talked to the kids this week about saying every week we do a drill that says to the kids, you've got 10 seconds once you cross the midline to get a shot off. If that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. And in 1992, our first championship, to beat North Carolina in the semifinals, we had to win 16-14. And if we've got to do that, we'll do it.
So there's Tierney on the sideline in his 17th year coaching, 192-60. And 6 head coaches have won back-to-back championships. Last was Bill Tierney. And next face-off, Mike Powell on the wing. Go ahead, Q.
In 61 quarters this year, Syracuse has only been shut out 1 time in the quarter. That was by UMass. So that's very unusual for them not to get their offense going, especially early in the game, where the first quarter has been their strength.
Now this quarter, Desko puts Mike Powell on the midfield wing. He was a couple times earlier, and they're working him from out front. He was not a part of the offense. Now his quickness is a factor out front, looking to get it inside to Springer, but Springer checked at the last moment, and the ball goes to Princeton. Trying again to get that real tight feed inside, and Princeton owns the inside.
The home run pass does not exist against this defense. I like Mike Powell's activity on the perimeter. He's so quick. He's the Allen Iverson of lacrosse. You can't stop him one-on-one, but he's got to make a better decision. That time he jammed it into Springer. He had success doing that on Saturday. All 4 of his assists came to Mike Springer.
Saul Bliss working on Hartopolis, and they work the ball behind now to Ryan Boyle. Freshman has made a big impact on this team. 2 shots against the Towson team in that semifinal.
Ivy League Player of the Year playing against potentially the Defenseman of the Year, John Glatzel. So it's a marquee matchup, and I think Boyle's smart enough not to press Glatzel.
DJ Prager getting a lot of heat from Billy St. George. Schreiber coming to help. Finally, they get the outlet pass from Will McCall in the back.
Prager's not a ball handler. Credit Billy St. George for recognizing that, picking up the tempo, throwing some checks. Prager is really a one-dimensional crease attackman.
Nick Schmitz, grad student, playing D. They got a lot of room. They're up front. They broke the plane and had another shot. Working the ball to the backside. A lot of talk from Mulligan.
Who's won?
Wide open up front. Nobody sliding, and Brad Dumont gets an open shot. Look at Mulligan. He's getting in the face of his defense. Mulligan absolutely screaming as you look at Princeton come off the field, and Dumont is scoring. Look at Mulligan screaming at the defense, and Quint, you heard him call, who's won? Who's won? He was looking for the first slide guy, and he never came.
That's exactly right. Look at the Syracuse defense in front, and they don't even recognize that Dumont gains an advantage. Talk about an easy goal. Dumont overpowers Dan Stessen at 5'9", 160 pounds, comes in left-handed. Mulligan guesses low. Desko's got to be upset. Mulligan, the senior, the emotional leader, getting in the face of his defense, saying, hey, guys, we've got to double team. We've got to pick up the physical intensity.
Abendroth was standing there watching the play unfold and never moved an inch. Whistle blows on the faceoffs. The faceoffs, the draws have been dominated by Syracuse, but not possessions or goals off that. Here are the last 4 games against Wisconsin.
Total domination. Last year in the finals, 13-7. Last year's regular season game, 16-4. And earlier this season in the Carrier Dome, 14-8.
So the whistle blows a technical. They've got a penalty against Princeton, so now it's a 6-on-5, the first extra man play of the day.
This is what Syracuse needs to get things going. The 2 left-handers, Brian Soliday and Brian Need, they'll bring off the bench.
Well, this is a chance for Syracuse to get a good shot. They haven't had hardly any. Trevor Tierney's been sensational, and they have put it on net. And they've got to get one here against the best man-down unit, probably in Division I. Big rocket from the wing, and Syracuse is on the board.
Brian Soliday. Talked about the outside shooting of Michael Springer, but Soliday, he's a guy who can absolutely bring it, and he's shooting so well lately. In the last 8 games, he has really increased his production. This is just an outside shot from about 12 yards. He sets his feet. He's a big guy, about 6'3", and he overpowers Trevor Tierney. Folks, that ball is moving about 90 miles an hour. Soliday just uncorks it, freezes Tierney, buckles his knees, and gets the Orangeman on the board.
Botatus on the wing, comes in and gets possession, but Princeton all over him. And they just check the ball down. Rosenbaum trying to get possession, still down. And the call will go against Syracuse on this one. Princeton gets the ball back. Desco, a little bit of relief, but not much, as Princeton has dominated. They have one extra man goal on that laser shot by Soliday. Princeton now bringing the ball in, confusing Syracuse because they've gone to the goal so effortlessly. Artazos gets the ball behind to Ryan Boyle. Strebel, again, matchup, looking for Middies coming in behind, but now this is Abendraw with the long pole behind. Syracuse a little better prepared to Strebel this time.
Strebel, the former attackman, he was the quarterback of this team last year, but with the emergence of Ryan Boyle, that allowed Strebel now to play on midfield.
Torney up top. Syracuse again taking time. Nick Schmitz goes behind, and Torney's going to challenge Schmitz from behind the goal. They have done a lot of damage from behind the goal, breaking the plane with little or no slide help.
They force Syracuse to play defense off the ball.
Get up right! Torney, big and strong, comes back and gets the shot he wants. He just pulled it too far. He had a ton of room to get that shot off.
Better help, though, by Syracuse's defense. You can see how aware they were that Torney was a threat. They stepped up, took the body.
Dan Clark now has Stetson. They give it to him behind the goal. And again, they like this matchup. Stetson, only 5'9", 177.
You're good, Danny. Get up right. Get up right.
Nice look to go back door. Good vision by Dan Clark to go back door. And you heard, again, Mulligan talking exactly about position for the defensive guy in the slot.
Syracuse usually very aggressive to double team. Unlike them, as Dumont's got 2 goals early. Princeton Tigers in the last 27 games. Look at that. They're undefeated against all teams except for Syracuse. 0-3 in the last 3 meetings. This is a team that has dominated the Ivy League.
They had a couple keys coming in. They wanted to get to Rob Mulligan early. They did. They wanted to isolate their middies coming in, slash attacking behind against short sticks. They have. They wanted to stop transition for good shots, and they've done that too. Springer behind the goal. 6 goals in the semifinal, not a factor yet today. Soliday gets to the far side. Kaufman, who's been burned on a defensive player, has great offensive numbers. Coming in with a left-handed shot, and Tierney blocks it down. Trevor Tierney, one of the only players that will be back next year, one of the seniors for Princeton. Damian Davis looking for help. Davis back to Tierney.
Got a 10-second count, and that's why Tierney sends it. It's a second too late, though. Defensively, you have 10 seconds on a possession to get the ball out of your clearing zone.
Coach Tierney again, a little bit frustrated with this, as Syracuse gets the ball back. Great defensive play for Princeton. They don't want to get the ball back. Syracuse too many times. Kaufman, with not a great shot, easy pickoff.
The isolation game is not the way to beat this defense. I like Kaufman's earlier move to the goal, but that time he kind of forced it. Trevor Tierney with 6 saves and only 1 goal against. Certainly very sharp right now.
Syracuse just 3 saves, and Mulligan not much time to get comfortable, as Princeton has really dominated this game from the opening draw. Searcy's doing his job out there, but the offense not getting any kind of quality shots.
Brings back memories of the '99 championship when Virginia took a nice lead into halftime against Syracuse, a half that Mulligan really got shell-shocked. Let's see if he can regain his composure and start isolating on the ball.
Brad Dumont has scored. He scored the 1st goal of the game. He scored the 4th goal for Princeton. Gives the ball out to Chris Harrington. 2 guys have really got a lot more offensive time here in the championship series.
Here we go, John. You got us, John.
Mulligan talking about John.
You can hear Mulligan talking to John Glatzel, encouraging Glatzel to get out try to throw some checks and get the ball on the turf.
Dumont against Spencer Wright from San Diego. Gets the slide from Avendroth. Back door, Striebel wide open. Slide comes late, inside, and that's another goal. Plus a foul.
We're gonna have a debate here whether Striebel was in the crease or not. Referees talking, Desco saying he was in the crease. Mulligan said he was in the crease. He may have been pushed in the crease. We're still on standby.
Regardless, Quinn, they're getting so many shots on that location, on that spot on the wing, they are almost owning that real estate. Hard to believe that Syracuse continues to give them that spot off the wing.
The goal is good. You're not allowed to dive in the crease, but I believe Striebel was pushed in by Schmitz. Right there, actually, that was Spencer Wright pushing Striebel into the cage. What a great finish. Watch how you don't see much open cage for Matt Striebel. Somehow he sneaks it off the shoulder of Mulligan and in the goal, and then he was dumped into the crease.
Nick Schmitz couldn't handle the defense initially on him. One-on-one, this game is broken down to, and a big advantage for Princeton. They lead 5-1 and are controlling the game in every facet. Seriously getting the draws, but really causing no pain to Princeton offense.
And the Syracuse defense, the defense that was so physical, so fast on Saturday, doesn't look like this is the same defense.
Loose ball hold call against Matt Baylor. Not a bad call, but Searcy comes off the field. Oh no, they can't believe it. They're calling it on Searcy, and that's why he was mad. Don't blame him. Big save by Mulligan that time, ball still loose.
That was Mulligan's best save. Hartopoulos loves to drop his stick and bring the ball to the near side. Beautiful save by Rob Mulligan. You can see how animated he is in the goal.
They got to make up 4 goals against a team that has dominated in every facet.
Hartopoulos drops his stick, lifts it, but Mulligan sees it the whole way. Nice job by the senior, and Desco just absolutely letting the official have it off of the face-off.
Well, from our vantage point, it was hard too, because Chris Searcy got tackled, and the ball went to Princeton. Of course, they're a lot closer, so the call was made. Here goes Princeton with a 4-goal lead. Rosenbaum gets checked by little Liam Banks, and they get the ball back. Liam Banks at 5'11", Rosenbaum at 6'2", 180, and Banks wins that small war.
Banks, Springer, and Powell make it awful difficult to clear. They do a great job. It's called riding in lacrosse, forechecking in hockey, generating the second chance opportunities. Rosenbaum had it. He should have just probably sent it. Just should have sent it deep because Banks had the angle.
Dennis Kavich will inbound this ball, bring it to the offensive box. Syracuse not at any kind of comfort level yet as Springer continues that one-on-one technique. I can tell you, every lacrosse fan down to the high school level knows that you've got to move the ball against Princeton. Everybody knows, even the 10-year-old people watching. And I'm sure Syracuse knows they are getting caught up in a one-on-one game and losing it.
Spin the rock. That's not the ticket right there. He's covered well, and the second man, the double team's coming. Torty having to play a lot of defense with Kyle Bogger from Princeton being on the sideline.
Timeout as one of the Princeton players ties his shoe. It's Torty. He'll be playing some defense. Damian Davis on the back line.
Let's see if Powell presses this matchup. I think he's much quicker than Davis.
Powell's quicker than anybody on the field. That I can assure you. Big shot up top. Well, they can't lock and load. Powell did a nice job of getting the ball up top to Tom Hardy, but Hardy couldn't quite get the shot off. Oh, low inside to Pat Hogan, who puts it wide over the net.
Much better ball movement by Syracuse, a little off-ball movement. They're kind of standing still also off the ball, which allows Princeton to get a read on what they're trying to do.
Mikey Powell on Davis again, looking inside. No look feed, nice job at wide of the net. Liam Banks looking inside, Malik checking him hard. Hardy with a big corner rip, and he gets a shot. Hogan rather, Pat Hogan out of St. Louis, Missouri. They had a goal on one shot against Towson, or the Notre Dame semifinal, I should say.
A much better possession. Banks draws the double team. Hogan, the rifle, the gun, rips the corner.
When we come back, Princeton, 5-2 leaders, will continue to see if they can hold the lead. Championship from Rutgers Stadium, and what a shocker so far. The Princeton band playing loud, playing proud. 5-2 they lead, and they have really controlled this game.
I like the last possession, though, for Syracuse. It was a multiple shot possession. The ball movement was much better. Michael Powell got into the flow of the offense. To me, the strength for Syracuse is their versatility. anytime on the field, they'll have 5 or 6 players who can score. They need to spin the rock, keep the ball hot.
5 NCAA championships, 12th appearance, 8 semifinals in the last 10 years. The best winning percentage in NCAA tourney history. Casino out for Princeton against Cuse. Casino number 17. Cuse pops one, but Casino holds him up. Montatis on the far side gets possession. He can't get loose. Can't get possession cleanly against the great Princeton D, and here comes Abendroth.
Abendroth, such an impressive player on the wing, controlling the ball in the middle of the field. He's got good speed, very intelligent player, and Montatis, big number 11 for Syracuse, 6'5", 200 pounds. He leads the team in loose balls. Really fast, he comes in off the wings and scoops up the ball so effectively. That's his role. Right now he's on the bench getting some water. He'll come back in for later faceoffs.
Soliday, Kaufman, Wright, the big midfield unit out there. Powell has been effective carrying the ball and has made the team look the most impressive when he carries the ball. He does not have it now. Springer carrying on the far side. This is a guy known as a finisher. He's carrying the ball against the tough Syracuse defensive checks. Scott Farrell on him. Way off ball is Mike Powell, and again, Quentin, I have to agree with you about him carrying the ball. Now here's Kaufman, who's been absolutely quiet in the semifinal and so far today.
Kaufman had a huge game in the quarterfinals, 4 goals, 2 assists. He's got to make quicker decisions against this defense.
This ball goes to Princeton. Liam Banks could have gotten to it. He can't believe it. Must have checked off somebody's stick. It looked like a shot to me. Damian Davis.
That was a pass to Banks.
Behind to Banks. He couldn't get it cleanly.
Banks loves to position himself back there where he'll catch that feed from the wing and then redirect to the weak side. This is trouble right now for Princeton.
Spencer Wright putting pressure on Ryan Mollett. 6 on number 6. Push call from behind with the ball loose. They're going to give the ball a timing violation.
Timing violation. Once you bring the ball over the midfield line, you have 10 seconds, much like basketball, getting the ball over the mid-court line. You have 10 seconds to get the ball into the attack zone. Nice job by Syracuse to press ball side. They rotated the defense ball side, so Mollett did not have an outlet pass.
Dan Stetson comes off the field as that first unit comes back on. Powell delivers the ball. The far wing, Springer. And you're back out there. Syracuse is with Wright, Soliday, and Kaufman. Owen Daly brings a defensive slide from Rosenbaum, puts some heat on him.
Mollett is making it tough for Banks to get the ball behind the cage.
Kaufman up top, wheeling. Wright, Kaufman, he takes a shot and it goes off the iron. That was great ball movement, and they had a great look at the goal.
Multiple passes. Kaufman rattled this one off the iron. He's shaking his head.
Liam Banks with inbound against Ryan Mollett. Banks looks to feed. Ball loose. Couldn't be picked up by Springer. Didn't get it cleanly, and Davis does. Banks trying to get a hold of Davis. Tough to do. Winship Ross easily gets the ball upfield.
Nice effort by Damian Davis, avoiding the pressure, being patient. I'll tell you, he's a good-looking athlete. Uses his body to shield off the Syracuse defender, and they clear.
Ryan Boyle will settle things down, and Winship Ross and company will probably come off for some new midfield units. Soliday and Winship Ross off. Abendroth on to play defense to the top of your screen as you look at the end zone view. Brad Dumont, 2 goals so far. Big game for him.
5 in the season. Only got 8 points, 5 goals, 3 assists coming into today's game. He's got 2.
Out of McDonough High School in Baltimore. Good size, and they like the matchups. Kaufman here has been burned a couple times.
Princeton's been warned for stalling right here. They'll have to keep the ball in the offensive box.
Dumont dishes up top. He went to that favorite spot on the wing where Princeton's been very effective.
The offensive box is this 20-yard zone right up here. They'll have to keep it in that zone.
Dotted lines coming down either side. Tigers looking for possession with Will McCall. Good checks by Nick Schmitz playing defense. Ball goes behind. Syracuse chases. They will get possession. They're down by 3 to Princeton, who really opened this game up with domination through the first quarter, and they scored the 4th goal at the beginning of the second quarter before Syracuse even got on the board.
Terrific anticipation by Saul Bliss. Big number 33. He's really known as an intimidating defender. That time he used his intellect. As that shot was taken, he sprinted towards the end line.
The game is flying by, Quinn. It's really a great Princeton timing and control game where there's not many penalties. The clock continues to roll, and they enjoy that 3-goal cushion. Mike Powell using the speed, trying to feed it inside, and a shot blocked down by Tierney. That was a great move. Somehow,
that may have hit the post. That may have hit the near post. Powell loves that little flip pass inside.
Brian Lieberman loses control of his footing. Brad Dumont will get a timeout by Bill Tierney in Princeton. They'll control the ball, the clock.
A possession timeout. The game was getting a little helter-skelter. Let's see if Tierney makes this big save. The cutter comes, the ball either hits his foot or the post. I think it hit both. I think it hit the post, then hit his leg, then kicked out. Another look. This is Lindsay, the talented freshman. Hit his foot. Definitely hit his foot somewhere along the line. Trevor Tierney, sensational so far. Only 2 goals against.
Coming up after our game, ESPN will have another matchup of top seeds when #1 Arizona battles #2 UCSPN. Well, a team that's been dominated, as you look at Desco, doesn't look that panicked yet. They really haven't done much in the comfort zone. And Springer, the finisher, has been controlling the ball a lot outside of the crease area.
Syracuse looking for win number 700 in the Syracuse lacrosse history. What a great tradition of lacrosse in upstate New York, central New York. Only one team has won more than 700, and that's Johns Hopkins.
Chris Harrington against Abe Droth. Josh White out there trying to set some picks with Stessen. So some new faces on the field for Princeton. Dan Clark on the far side with Nick Schmitz playing defense. And again, it's back. This is Josh White. Head attack at St. Mary's. Thanks to midfield here. Stessen all over him. Gets it behind. Good movement out to the crease. And a follow-up shot just goes wide. They had a beautiful tic-tac-toe kind of movement on that one and just missed the cage.
Josh White, left-handed player, isolated left-handed, a couple quick passes. That's really the hallmark of Princeton's offense. It's a passing offense.
Josh White says the pick beautifully for Boyle, but the slap check by Syracuse gets it down. Here goes Stessen. Trouble. Transition. Princeton dropping back some numbers, and Stessen can't get it clean. Finally, he walks over the midfield line knowing that the transition opportunity is gone, and they will settle for hopefully a shot before the 1:40. This half is up. Mike Powell, big move on Davis, gets open. Comes out, looks for cutters. Constantly looking to the crease. Ryan Mallett double teams and gets a flag call. They'll still have a free shot. Up top, rocket from Kaufman. They've got goal number 3, and credit Mike Powell with making it happen.
It all revolves around Mike Powell. The quick steps behind the cage, he draws the foul. And then Kaufman, that was not Kaufman's fastest shot. Remember earlier, he hit the iron. That time he took something off of it, but the location was sensational. That's Mike Powell, the freshman sensation right here. Look at the quick double team by Ryan Mallett. He draws the pushing violation, which will be wiped out, but then he attacks. He regains his poise. Eyes are always up to Kaufman in front. And Kaufman sticks it. Watch Kaufman position himself right in the middle of the field here. And look at the location of this shot, right to that corner. Beautiful location.
Quinn, they haven't had many shots, but earlier when they were taking shots, the location was really the horrible thing. They were putting it right in the middle at most times or at Tierney's feet. Tierney did make great saves, but Syracuse was not helping themselves with location. They seem a little more comfortable as this game is now a 2-goal game.
Another timeout by Princeton. For Syracuse, I believe that Powell's the key.
We'll take a short break when we come back. Princeton's lead shrinks to 2. We've got about a minute left in the half. Matchup that we've seen before. 92. This is overtime. Andy Moe off the faceoff comes down and beats Syracuse for their first national championship under the tutelage of Bill Tierney. This started an incredible run in the 90s.
What a great defense for Princeton that season. David Morrow, goalie Scott Bacigalupo, but Andy Moe had a huge game in the finals that day.
28 NCAA tournament games, 17 decided by 1 or 2, and in that 17 games decided by 2 or less, he has 15-2. The one team that has kept him from being perfect in NCAA play since '92 has been Syracuse. Strebel on the timeout. They're looking for, obviously, a final possession. Abendroth really lining up the lumber. Strebel working the left. This is what he wants, the natural lefty.
Abendroth, awful talented in the fact that he can throw those checks and not sacrifice any position.
Dumont with Schmitz. Slides getting ready to come. The short stick defender, Nick Schmitz. Transferred in from Duke. Princeton eyeing the clock. Quint, they don't want this game. They want it to be 6-3 or 5-3. They'll look for that last shot. Dumont. Right hand looks to the wing. Artopoulos, big shooter, and it's off of Mulligan's arms. Great block. Shot right in the heart of that 36 square feet. But they've got another chance. Ball comes in closer. Look at the swarming defense. Push call.
Crease violation against Princeton. Mulligan made the initial save earlier. One of his better saves, how he slid his body across the cage. He has regained his poise after allowing 3 quick goals on the first 5 shots. There he is. Got to give him a lot of credit for rallying after a slow start.
And they have time to get another shot. 15 seconds here. Let's see if Desko gets a timeout in the offensive zone. 12, they're going right to the cooker. No, he calls the timeout. So he will take that last 10 seconds. And that is enough to get a quality shot. So Desko's team has clawed back and fought back against a dominant Princeton team. They've scored 3 of the last 4 goals, Quint, to give them some sort of comfort level on the offensive end. And as you have talked about, it really looks like the best way to start their offense is with Mike Powell handling the ball. Nobody can match his quickness.
No one can stay with him one-on-one. And what he does, he will draw the automatic double team, and then he's quick enough to pass the ball to the open man. That gets the other guys open. So Powell needs to handle the ball behind the cage.
Well, Mike Powell talked to us about comparing him to the other Powell brothers who have come before.
People call me the melting pot because I kind of use both of Casey and Ryan's game a little bit. You know, I use Casey's quickness and Ryan's vision a little bit. But, you know, if I can be considered in the same category as them, I'm proud of myself.
Pretty heady player, Mike Powell. Only about 5'10", you say that's a stretch, and 160, but nobody can keep up with this kid, and that's been the secret to his success.
Yeah, and I'm impressed with his attitude, the way he defers to the older players on the offense, the way he says, quote unquote, I'm the worst offensive player out there. Now that's kind of ridiculous, but it shows the respect he has for Liam Banks and Mike Springer and Kaufman, and that this is not his show yet. Although today I think he needs to make this his show.
Look at the most points by a freshman, Mike Powell right there. John Zalberti, a volunteer coach on the sideline today with 74. Casey Powell, his brother, tied with him at the moment. Good chance that Mike Powell will leapfrog his brother before the day's out. So they've had a chance to talk about a play. They'll start with Kaufman in possession against Rosenbaum. Kaufman, little swim move over the top. They only have 7 seconds. They've got to move in quick. Soliday, left-handed shooter, right to the feet of Tierney. Left-handed shooter on the right-handed side, but a good shot.
Not a bad shot. That almost snuck in below Trevor Tierney's stick, but he made the last-second save. Coach Desko saying, hey, that wasn't what we designed on the sideline.
You're a lefty. Get on the other side. He's pointing to the other side of the field. That's the right-handed shooter's side.
But a couple key goals by Syracuse Slate. Pat Hogan from Banks, and then Kaufman from Powell.
Our chance to talk to Bill Tierney, who has had a sensational first half. Bill, not much to say other than great things. Your team has come out with a very specific game plan, obviously, and it's worked for the most part.
Well, we feel, okay about this, Leaf. We're down 6-3 up in the Dome, so, it's a 5-goal swing. But, we know who we're playing. We know that this is going to be another really, really tough 30 minutes. Maybe they weren't quite ready for the emotion, but, we're going to give it our best.
Coach, you seem to be really picking your matchups on the offensive end of the field from behind the cage. What are you guys trying to look for?
Well, we thought that they've been so great against our slide package, Quint, that we just feel like we've got some great players out there, and we're going to have to leave it in their hands a little bit.
How about the wing play on the faceoffs? He's getting a lot of draws, but no damage off those draws.
That's the plan right now, Leaf. If they don't get any fast break goals off us, we'll call it a great day.
Good first half. We will let you get to your team.
Thank you,
Bill Tierney. And we want to remind our viewers, a sensational halftime coming up. We're going to announce the Division I Men's All-America team. We're also showing you highlights from the championships of Men's Division II, Division III, and the Women's Division I, all coming up at our halftime here at the Division I Championships. Welcome back to Rutgers halftime of our Division I championship game. Time now to show you the All-America team for the Division I athletes.
Let's start with the attack from Syracuse University. The tradition of number 22 continues. That's Mike Powell. He's the Allen Iverson of lacrosse. His extreme quickness this season has been devastating. Our second selection from Virginia, Connor Gill, the slick passer. He's the quarterback of the Virginia offense. And our final attackman, Tom Glatzel, the senior from Notre Dame, put that program on the map. They had their finest season. He finishes with 106 career goals. At the midfield, Doug Shanahan, Hofstra University, 42 goals, and he won 159 faceoffs. His raw athleticism so dominant. Our second midfielder from Syracuse, Josh Kaufman, the stop-and-go Dodger, is an absolute offensive force. He's shown versatility at both ends of the field. From the Georgetown Hoyas, Steve Dussault. He's only a junior, a sharpshooter with 36 goals. The junior psychology major has a 3.5 GPA. And our final midfielder from Loyola College, Gavin Prout. The senior is an old-school two-way player, 34 goals. He's Mr. Everything for Loyola. On defense, John Glatzel, Syracuse University. They call him the eraser because he routinely shuts down the opponent's top player. Our second selection, Ryan Mollett, number 6, the vocal leader of the Princeton defense. He was the Ivy League Player of the Year. Here's a guy who can play defense, he can carry the ball in transition, and he can score goals as well. Our final defender from Virginia is Mark Kuntz, 6'2", 215 pounds, the best one-on-one covered defender in the country. In the goal from Maryland, the senior southpaw, Pat McGinnis, led Maryland to a 13-3 record at 179 saves and only allowed 6.4 goals against. And from Princeton, Trevor Tierney, the senior, led Princeton to a 13-1 record. He made 145 saves, and they are in the finals thanks to the clutch play of Trevor Tierney.
One final look at our All-America team, the best of the best in Division I. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll show you highlights of the men's Division II and III championships, plus the dynasty of women's Division I lacrosse. Welcome back to Rutgers Stadium, the halftime of our Division I championship game in lacrosse. And let's take a look right now at our NCAA championships for Division II and III for men and Division I for women. And we start with the women's highlights. Maryland on a 6th championship run. This was a tough game. Kelly Coppage scores here. They were off to an 8-1 lead.
But Georgetown came back behind 6 goals by Erin Elby, number 24, the feed from Sheehan Stanwyck.
This game went into overtime, 2 overtime periods, and then sudden death before Tori Wellington gets the ball from Jen Adams into Allison Comito, the great left-handed shooter, wins it with just seconds left. We'll review first half action from today's game. Stay with us. We're back to Rutgers Stadium, 5-3. The Princeton Tigers lead in a surprising fashion. Lee Felsmo and Quinn Kesnick. And Quinn, not the score, but the way they got there is the big surprise.
Well, this has been typical Princeton lacrosse. They've done a great job controlling the tempo, and they got off to a great start, which was so important.
Here they go in the first part of the game. Unassisted goal by Dumont. They didn't waste any time going to the cooker.
And then Owen Daly came around the cage unassisted. Strebel unassisted. And Trevor Tierney made a couple key stops early. Really set the tempo for that defense.
Second quarter, Syracuse comes back. But first, it was another unassisted goal by Dumont, and then the next 3 or 4 go to Syracuse.
Yeah, Brian Soliday scored to get Syracuse on the board. Strebel finishes off the Princeton scoring. They led 5-1, and then 2 straight by Syracuse. Pat Hogan from Banks and Kaufman from Powell.
So that sets up the score. Low-scoring game. Tempo, as you mentioned, in favor of Princeton. When we come back, we'll get set for that second half of action. This is the Division I championship game. It's all on the line in the next 30 minutes. ESPN's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Lacrosse Championships. We're back at Rutgers Stadium. Princeton enjoying a 5-3 lead. Lee Felsmo, Quinn Kesnick, and coach of Syracuse, John Desko. John, I'm sure you didn't think the first quarter would go that way. What did you tell your guys at halftime?
Well, we got to be a lot more patient and take better care of the ball, do a little bit better job on ground balls on the face-offs. We've had success in the past, being a little bit more patient, and we forced some things early and took some bad shots against a great goalie.
Coach, 4 out of their 5 goals are unassisted. Any adjustments defensively?
Yeah, we got to go earlier, especially when they're inverting behind. And, you know, we talked about that, a little miscommunication a couple times, but we got to go. We can't let them come around and shoot one-on-one with Rob Mulligan from a 2- or 3-yard shot.
When Mike Powell starts with the ball, it looks like trouble for them. You going to continue with that?
Yeah, most definitely. We're searching for the right offense to use, and we got to get the ball at this end. But on the other hand, we got to take care of it and work for good shots.
Thank you very much, John Desko. Continued luck here as we continue for the final of this one in the last half. Coming at you here, the stats from the first half.
Look at the saves. Tierney with 8 and Mulligan with 5. The face-offs, 9 for Syracuse, 0 for Princeton, but that really has not been impactful.
And he talked about it, Tierney did, as he went to the halftime. No big damage off face-offs. They've done a good job of going in, stopping transition. And take a look at the face-offs now. The great Chris Searcy in his last game as a collegiate.
Searcy against Matt Baylor or Drew Casino. They're tying Searcy up. Syracuse has been winning the draws, but they have only really 1 fast break early, and at which time the Princeton defense did a nice job keeping the ball on the perimeter. So Searcy's been dominant, but it hasn't led to any orange goals.
Searcy right there, number 46, again in his final year at Syracuse. He is absolutely a technician at this art of facing off. Matt Baylor coming in to go to war with him. Princeton looking for support from the wing for possession, or just dropping back in. You got Torty to your right down low. Up top, Ryan Mollett. No, it's Rosenbaum, number 5. And Matt Baylor comes up clean. They've got the 2-goal lead in a clean face-off possession for Princeton. Princeton in the black top with the orange pants. Syracuse with the white jerseys and the blue shorts as we get into half number 2. They have owned this game as far as control and possession, tempo, and they start the second half that way.
Princeton played the first quarter to script, but Syracuse, they played a real poor half, and yet they're only down by 2 goals. They can tie together multi-goal runs. Certainly, a 2-goal deficit is absolutely no concern yet.
Brad Dumont, here's the early slide. Desko talked about it. Bill St. George came out very early with the isolation by Dumont. Dumont had 2 unassisted goals in the first half. Desko was not going to let that happen again if he could help it. Nick Schmitz against Torty. They go back door to Ryan Boyle. A little bit handcuffed on that pass. He's being chased by Glatzel. But they pick it up cleanly. Princeton, great job by Hartoflis. Glatzel now has possession. Glatzel comes out of the sideline but cannot connect with his teammate Sal Bliss.
It was a smothering check by Glatzel in the corner. He got the ball on the ground, made the scoop. It's a good look at the senior All-American. You'll see Boyle position himself over the ball. Hartoflis will come up with it. Keep your eye on Glatzel's stick. Right there, what a check. He gets the ball, throws it upfield, but the pass was just wide of the mark.
So Princeton maintains possession. Strebel now going behind, going cross court, right across the crease. And he tried to hit B.J. Prager. Princeton again with a great backup and the continued possession. Talk about surgical with the game plan. They got the face-off right out of the second half and have not given the ball back. Minute and a half gone by. Backdoor, easy shot, and a great save by Mulligan. So he comes up big, unlike the beginning of the game where he let a few in early on. Syracuse throws it away again. Mulligan yelling at the defense.
Those are the type of second chance mistakes right there by Dan Stetson that will absolutely kill you. Mulligan makes a great save against Ryan Boyle. You gotta like the pass that Will McCall threw to Boyle, but Boyle's kind of snake bit as far as scoring goals is concerned. Has not scored since the Dartmouth game. He's gone 4 straight games now without a goal.
First Division I coach to reach the NCAA. There in this great program after Roy Simmons Jr. DJ Prager, again, Princeton gets the ball back. A lot of mistakes early on in the second half for Syracuse. Big shot wide. Dan Clark coming in.
Clark has that quick first step. He's one of the deceptive Princeton midfielders. Doesn't have many goals on the season, only 6 goals, but he usually accelerates past his man and draws that double team.
Marquee matchup, Boyle, a young freshman against John Gladstone. Gladstone got the ball down quick now, of course, on the wing. This is Billy St. George in close, watch out. Boyle, here's a shot, and another big save by Mulligan. Syracuse cannot get possession, and that's been the problem so far this half. Abendroth up to Stetson. Stetson's got some time, he comes across quickly. Mulligan has been the story, Princeton, in this half.
The kick save, his best of the game. Lunging to the turf, the left-hander kicked his foot out and made the acrobatic save.
Princeton did everything perfectly to start that half. They gave him some different looks. They didn't start from behind the goal. They started in front with their ISOs. And they had great shots on Mulligan. It was only his ability and his effort that kept the score 5-3. 3 minutes have gone by. This is the first offensive set for Syracuse in half number 2. Wright, Spencer Wright from San Diego. This is Mike Powell against Damian Davis. A great quick move out to the wing, looking to feed the whole time up top to Kaufman. Solid.
Powell can get a step on Damian Davis. It's awful important, though, that the other offensive players occupy their men and clear out. Make that double team tougher. Give Mikey a chance to go to the goal for himself. Give him more space.
Mike against Davis. This is Mikey Powell going inside, and he's hung around the neck. That'll be a flag. They get a free shot. Goes inside, and an acrobatic shot. Did not find the mark. Spencer Wright tried to just whip it over his shoulder. He was well high, but the trouble has been when Mike Powell gets the ball.
Keep an eye on number 25. That's Davis with the hook right there. Powell, though, strong enough to spin out of that. Then with the swim move. This is the kick save. Keep your eye right there on the left foot. Beautiful job by Rob Mulligan. Another look. Watch him kick that left foot out. Takes it off the shin. His biggest save of the game as they survived that nearly 3-minute possession by Princeton.
And mostly on the strength of that Mulligan save in the other one. The Orangeman extra man, 25 for 72. That's 35%. They didn't get a good shot here. Can they get the possession back? Here goes Princeton. They're out in front. Ball still on the field. But Ryan Mullet comes up with the ball. Mullet, tremendous with his ability to read the ball and come up with possessions. Mullet has so many huge possessions throughout this championship series. The senior leader. He had a great assist to win the game in the semis. He's cutting inside, looking for the ball. Ryan Boyle settles things down. So a wonderful extra man opportunity wasted by Syracuse.
Brian Lieberman, the sophomore from Long Island, number 43 for Princeton, got his stick in the passing lanes, as Princeton has done so many times this season on their man down. And he got the ball on the ground. And talk about the impact a guy like Ryan Mullet can have, getting that ball in the loose.
Strebel was open. Nobody was playing him. There was a little bit of a defensive lapse, and they dodged the bullet there. Tripping over the net, defenseman Abendroth. You heard it on the mic. He got his feet caught in the net, and Princeton made him pay. The first goal of the second half starts with Strebel behind, 6-3 now. The score.
40 from Strebel. Strebel's been effective. His second assist to go along with 2 goals. The penalty, the teams are back to all even. We've got an isolation on Torty. Watch him find the seam. Look at Schmitz staring at the ball. Torty catches and beats Mulligan down low. But the play starts right here. Look at the back of the goal. Right there. The Syracuse defender, I think it was Abendroth, slips on the goal. And let me tell you, these goals are strung pretty tight. These defenders have to step over the netting in order to play defense.
Huge effort by Mulligan. But not enough, because they finally got a ball right in his face for that 3-goal margin again. Infraction on the face-off gives the ball to Syracuse.
Not bad, though. If you're Princeton, if you have you move early there, you have an infraction, that gives Syracuse the ball, but at least they don't get a fast break.
Fast breaks have not been a factor. The face-off dominance has been there. As we've mentioned, no pain because no goals have come off that transition. Syracuse now with Hardy, Dennis Cabbage, Pat Hogan, up top, behind the back. Great shot. And finally, they connect in the middle. And a big payoff with Pat Hogan from St. Louis coming down and wrapping it around his shoulder.
Hogan's second goal. All of the Syracuse goals have been scored by midfielders. This is the time for the behind-the-back shot. You'll see him, top of the screen, cut right-handed. Nice job by Hardy to draw the double team. Hogan fills the seam behind the back, a little spice. Here he is right there. Keep your eye on that man. He'll cut right-handed. He'll fill the seam and then put the ball behind his back.
Chris Searcy moved early this time, so Princeton has won 2 of the 3 faceoffs this half. They're moving it quickly. The Torty looking for an advantage in close. They get a shot at there. Boyle right back to the middle, and Prager had a shot that didn't go clean. Princeton putting incredible pressure on Syracuse. Quint, they wasted no time getting the shot off, and they still have the ball. Artopoulos, back of the net, no goal. They are really causing some problems to Princeton by going right to the net. And they cannot clear trouble. Comes Princeton. Backside, Artopoulos, big shooter. Dodges inside of one, behind the back, and then again, Mulligan comes up with a big save.
Unbelievable save by Mulligan. Artopoulos. We've got a scrap in front. 2 players locked up. Artopoulos faked the shot. Billy St. George lunged at him. I'm not sure. There's Artopoulos on the far side trying to catch his breath. We had 2 players tangled in front. It was B.J. Prager.
This is the guy you want to have the ball for the shot.
Watch Artopoulos off the transition. The clear breaks down for Syracuse. Watch this fake by Sean Artopoulos right here. What a great face dodge. He comes in behind the back. Mulligan holds his ground, and then we have a free-for-all inside.
Princeton gets the ball back, and the Tigers have really controlled this game, early on especially, and then to begin the second half, you know the third quarter is critical, and they have done a job here. Each team scoring a goal, but Princeton with much more of the possession time. Stetson, they worked on him pretty hard today, playing defense, this time against Owen Daly.
They have really picked and choose their matchups very well. They really have not taken John Glatzel or Saul Bliss, the strength of the Syracuse defense, to the cage. They've really taken them out of the equation.
Here's that one-on-one early slide by Abendroth. Abendroth comes up and knocks down the pass, but Princeton again gets the ball. Abendroth comes back for a second look, and he can't get it out cleanly. Stetson can't get it out cleanly. And it'll be Princeton possession. They have ridden a ferocious pace against the clearing of Syracuse, and they've been successful in stopping any kind of clearing efficiency.
Stetson struggling. Great play by Abendroth to get the ball on the ground. They double team Owen Daly. Abendroth loses the ball out of the back of his stick. And look at all the black jerseys just converge on Dan Stetson.
This is a rematch of last year's championship. 13-7 was the final score there. Syracuse with an undermanned Princeton team, leading scorer Prager out. But today, it's been all Princeton as far as control of the game tempo. They start behind this time with Chris Harrington. This is Artopoulos back to him. They like that matchup.
Third chance opportunity for Princeton off of 2 failed Syracuse clears.
Nick Schmitz playing defense.
Will McCall awful quick behind the cage for Princeton.
They're telling him to shut him off from coming to the plane of the goal. They don't want him. They don't want the shut off. They want to shut off the adjacent guys. I guess.
Yeah, they don't want Princeton to be able to switch that ball. They're going to pressure. They're going to pressure McCall right there.
So B.J. Prager coming in. They're really thinking they're going to make the feed. Mulligan making sure the slide guys don't leave their man early. Shut off the adjacent. Leaving it all in the hands of Nick Schmitz right here. They're warned for stalling. We've got to keep it in the box. The box is the dotted line extended. Artopoulos. Saul Bliss. Artopoulos tries to go back door with it. Handcuffed by Saul Bliss, but again, Princeton comes up with possession. Warding off is the call to go to Syracuse, but Princeton has gotten almost every ground ball this half.
And especially in their offensive zone, so they're getting multiple shot possessions. They're grinding the clock down. Syracuse has played an awful lot of defense. This is not typical of the way their season has gone. It's the best Syracuse defense since 1988.
Brett Walther brings it down. They'll have to change some people here because they played defense so long. They've got the #1 midfield coming back out for Syracuse, which is Spencer Wright, Brian Soliday, number 9, and 32, Josh Kaufman. Kaufman, 1 goal today, none of the semifinals, as Spencer Wright brings it down. Liam Banks behind, looking far side for next. Ryan Mollett locking up on him. Mike Powell is available down to his left. Spencer Wright against Dumont. Left-handed shot. Not a lot of angle, but he tested Tierney, and Tierney came up with a nice save.
Crease violation against Liam Banks. It's going to be Princeton ball. There's a play on. If Princeton did not control, much like soccer, they'll blow the whistle and award the ball to Princeton.
Trevor Tierney has been absolutely everything your coach would want him to be today. The saves there for Princeton, 9, and Syracuse 10, with Mulligan really getting his game together, especially in the second half.
He's kept this team in the game here in the second half. Syracuse has only had 2 legitimate possessions in the first 9 minutes of this quarter.
Princeton moving in, they get the good slide to make men open. Hartopoulos out front, they keep working. Sean Lindsay gets it, or I'm sorry, that's Dan Clark up top. A lot of checks behind as Ryan Boyle gets it knocked down by Glatzel. Glatzel working him hard. Strebel comes in, he's got some numbers. Strebel looks behind. They have to slide quickly, and they don't make the slide complete. Prager, the pure finisher, gets the next goal. It's 7-4 Princeton. And Princeton making it look pretty easy.
Prager from Boyle. The key to this play was the effort of Matt Strebel to go into the corner, get the ball loose on the ground, and then attack. This is, you'll see the ball come in on the side right here, but the goal scorer will be right here. Prager points behind, and then he cuts. He fills the seam. Boyle to Prager, that combination has worked so often this season. But Strebel right there goes in the corner, much like in hockey, a scrapper going into the corner, getting the puck out and moving it towards the cage. Strebel did the dirty work. Prager finishes from Boyle.
Chris Searcy gets the face-off very cleanly, but it goes to the defensive end. And there'll be no fast break, no transition pressure here, and that's exactly what Coach Tierney and the Tigers want. That 3-goal cushion holding up. They got a 4-goal run to start the game, and then it's been back and forth ever since, but 3-goal cushion has held up for Princeton. And this game, fairly penalty-free, continues to march at a ferocious pace. Less than 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Spencer Wright with Kaufman up top. Wright dishes down back to Mike Powell, who just seemed to not be looking at the ball. He just missed a clean transitional pass there. Powell may have been looking inside, but the ball went right by his stick. Ryan Mollett with an easy long clear from Tierney, and they bring it down to the offensive box. Prager open as he goes in. Beat St. George. He's got a move, and Mulligan with another big save. St. George just overplayed Prager, and Prager took him right down to the net.
Prager's not known as a ball handler, but that time he showed some unusual quickness. Mulligan, again, bailing Syracuse out.
Mike Powell with some room, causing problems. And Liam Banks in the same spot as Powell was, misses the catch. Just like Powell, Banks looks to the middle before he catches the ball. And a team that's begging for some transitions, some 3 or 4 pass offenses, can't get it done.
Quick clear by Princeton again, attacking this weak side as Syracuse was on a substitution.
Rob Torty. Glatzel against him. He doesn't want any part of that. Ryan Mollett still on that end of the field, but belongs to captain for the defensive end. Brad Dumont so effective with Stetson playing defense on him. They might try to exploit this. Exploit that Brad Dumont matchup, but they don't. Boyle back out to Rob Torty. Nick Schmitz lined up as they go one-on-one. Torty, no angle, backdoor, nice move. Boyle up top, the big gun Hartopoulos. Shot with a lot of room up front was Brad Dumont. He's been getting a lot of great looks. Brad Dumont has been a big part of the success today.
Syracuse has changed their matchups. Glatzel back on Boyle now, but he had been seeing some time on Strebel. So much of the Princeton offense is flowing through Matt Strebel.
Here's Hartopoulos, saw bliss on him. Hartopoulos, Q, had 12 shots against Towson in the semifinal.
112 shots on the season.
Brad Dumont. Good pickup by Mulligan, who's really got his feet set now. Transition here comes, starting with Nick Schmitz. Schmitz looking for some opening. He's got Springer inside, but Springer getting shut off by the short stick defense of Princeton. Torty came back and really got to Springer quickly.
Torty got to Springer, which allowed Scott Farrell to pick up Schmitz. And Schmitz didn't force the action, which was a smart move. Take a look at the overall shots. Syracuse with only 20, way below their recent average against Georgetown late in the season. They took 58 shots. In the quarterfinals against Hofstra, they took 53 shots.
Farrell playing defense against Springer. They set up a little bit of an isolation for Syracuse up top, into the middle, but Tierney with a great save. Tierney just filled it up and blocks that one out.
And then an interference call on the far side. Kaufman, Powell had scooped the ball up, and Kaufman came over late and made contact with the with the Princeton player.
Scott Farrell initiates this clear, ends up with Rob Torty, who's been on the field for a long time. Rob Torty, the senior. 16 goals coming into this game. Chris Harrington. Princeton reloading. The call out here, Q. They're yelling and screaming. Owen Daly on the field, far side. Dan Clark gets inside, and a finishing shot by Prager. That is a textbook finish, and Mulligan can't stand it. He thinks he was on the crease.
Prager with 2 in a row. He just parks himself inside. He's always thinking ahead, and he catches everything that they jam inside. There's a good look. 34th goal of the season. You talk about a guy with a shooting percentage, nearly 50%. Here he is, he's wide open. Catches, redirects, tiptoes the crease, falls in late. The assist to be number 21, Dan Clark. But that's just a great backside look by Princeton. And check out the reaction, check out the emotion. Rob Mulligan slamming his stick against the goal.
He's made great saves, but his defense is really leaving him out to dry, and a lot of these, Quint, are getting good shots inside. Prager has that moved down, and they shouldn't be worried about the crease call. It's the offense of Syracuse. You know, 8 goals isn't even that crazy if the offense was doing anything. But the defense of Princeton has really confused and stopped the juggernaut Syracuse Orangemen. Spencer Wright starts down here with Soliday and Kaufman. Soliday, who was a big factor in the first win earlier this season. Kaufman gets the loose ball from Lieberman. A lot of isolations by Syracuse. Soliday. Wheeling outside. Now takes the right-handed shot wide of the net. It'll be backed up by Mike Powell. Let's see if he can get something going.
Syracuse is not getting the ball rotation that they need. We talked about spinning the ball, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that the player behind the cage for Syracuse is being played tightly. So when Kaufman was isolating, Liam Banks was really being shut off behind the cage. And what that stops is Kaufman from hitting Banks and then attacking the weak side.
Mike Powell brings the ball in against Damian Davis. The change in direction, so hard to stop. Fakes the pass, comes up front, launches a hard shot over the pipe. Good possession shot as Liam Banks defends behind. Less than a minute in this quarter. This quarter has flown by, and they are now 4 goals down. And the time is ticking away on Syracuse, the defending champions. Kaufman wide to the left, so they're missing with their shots.
Severe angle shot by Kaufman. He nailed a couple of those in the quarterfinals against Hofstra, but Trevor Tierney would much rather see that type of shot than something from the middle of the field.
This is Liam Banks starting against Ryan Mollett. Not a matchup you want to keep the ball. You got to get rid of that ball. Liam Banks does now. Out to Kaufman, wheels, pushes inside, penalty called, Kaufman, and look at the save by Tierney. The right-hander had to do the impossible almost, coming from his right to his left.
Kaufman can't believe it, absolutely robbed by that man right there, Trevor Tierney. Kaufman leans in, he draws the holding violation. Keep your eyes on the quickness of Trevor Tierney, playing back on his line, really punching his stick across his face. You'll see this area in the cage right there is where the shot's going. Boom! Beautiful job by Tierney, back on his line, much like a hockey goalie. That last-second reaction, the quickness of the hands and the feet, so apparent.
Last time Syracuse had an extra man advantage, Quint, they didn't even get a good shot off before Princeton took the ball away from them. They desperately need one here. 14 seconds left. Let's see if they go to the shot or go for possession for the fourth quarter. Nee with a big shot. This is the freshman, and they can't get it past Tierney. Tierney just too tough as the freshman Nee, Ryan Nee from way up top, gets it right in the stick. That'll be the end of the third quarter. Princeton controlling the game from end to end, and Syracuse with just 15 minutes left to challenge the dominance. At Rutgers, coach Bill Tierney controlling the game. His son in the goal in his senior year, now a first-team All-America. We announced that in our halftime. A tough combination of father and son on the same team, but he's been huge today.
He's been clutch all season long, and especially in the playoffs. Really, I love the way he plays so far. Back in the cage, he doesn't guess. He gives every shot an honest effort, and he's just been clutch.
And Bill Tierney, you know, knows something has to give when there's a father-coach-son relationship.
Well, what if I was just his father? Every day he came home, I would be asking him about practice, or certainly after each game that he played great, and I'd be putting my arm around him and giving him a big hug. But you gotta temper, there's always that coach temper in there of keeping it a little professional, and he has handled that much better than I.
It's a family affair here at Rutgers Stadium with Bill Tierney. And we are getting set for the second part of this game. There is the mother, Helen Tierney. Brendan on the sideline, number 2, who gets some action today, probably before it's over. But this man, Trevor, has really been the key, one of the big keys. The game plan has worked, but he has been huge, stoning Syracuse and holding to a 4 goals in 3 quarters.
Teams are back to full strength. You got to go back pretty far to find a Syracuse team that is struggling to score. In 1999, they only scored 7 against this Princeton team.
And Spencer Wright answers your plea by saying, here comes a laser from the left hand. Location was absolutely perfect on the shot cue.
And on the run, the junior from San Diego, the big junior from San Diego, watch him go right to left, full speed, tough to find the ball coming out of a moving target. And the location, he just nails the far post. That's the toughest save for a goalie to make. No help, dodges down the alley, gets a decent position, and there's no way Trevor Tierney's going to make that save. Perfect placement by that man right there, Spencer Wright.
8-5 as Baylor gets the draw, but can't come up with the possession. Ball kicked around. Princeton right there. Sticks fighting for possession as they go for the all-important face-off. Still down. Push call from behind, I believe. And they're going to give the ball to Princeton as they were going for the loose ball possession push against Syracuse. Trailed 13-9 in the 83 championship versus Hopkins entering the 4th quarter. Syracuse did, and they won 17-16.
One of the greatest lacrosse games ever played.
Big save by Mulligan. He's been forced to make huge saves. If it wasn't for Mulligan, Princeton would be up by 7. They lead now by 3. He is getting no help from the defense. Schmitz on the far side looking for help. Stetson put the ball on the other side. Stetson still on the field, the defensive specialist. Mike Powell on a one-on-one. Liam Banks, that's a little pick for him. Powell getting a lot more active late in the game. Swim move against Ryan Molly. Powell tried to get it into the crease, but Soliday will back it up.
Nice
Powell
job
has a little bit of a quicker step.
A quicker step, but that time he tried to use muscle against Mollett. He should really try to lure Mollett and Davis away from the goal, use his quickness, burst to the cage.
Syracuse a little bit more of an immediacy in what they're doing. They know that their championship is on the line. The great play of Princeton. They seem to be a little quicker, a little more frenetic, a little more desperate in their moves.
They need the loose balls. Princeton has dominated the ground balls, the loosies, the little plays, and they've won the big plays as well.
And here's the matchup they've liked. Powell's been open. Here comes again another big shot by Spencer Wright. He raises his hand and say, bang, just got to hit the target. But they've been definitely quicker as a team and a little bit more
sense of urgency. Yeah, they've shown a sense of urgency here in the 4th quarter.
Kaufman swings across. Winship Ross picks him up. Soliday waits up top. He reaches way back for some extra mustard on that shot. And it was Winship Ross who came back and just took the stick check and the ball out of bounds. Liam Banks with Ryan Mollett. This is one that really favors Mollett, KG senior. Trying to get it into Soliday. again, these possessions were all controlled by Princeton in the third quarter. Contested now much more aggressively by Syracuse. Ball loose in front. They've got a little bit of confusion.
That's exactly right. They're working much harder on the ground balls, and it's paying off.
Nothing from Springer so far. Liam Banks swings it through to Kaufman, and Kaufman tries to get it through the defense, can't get it past Rosenbaum. But again, a 4-possession offense, where in the third period, they only had one shot and out. Mike Powell. Mollett now switched over on Powell. Powell with a bounce shot. Great move by Mike Powell, the freshman. A little juke move, and with not much to shoot at, put it past Tierney.
You talk about control. You talk about a guy leaning in at the right time in a game. Left to right move, and watch the shot. Just a quick little release, and it catches Tierney, but just a snapshot. Keep your eye on the head of his stick. You'll see him right there, just dip and dunk and just kind of push it by Tierney. Nothing you can do. The hand speed, the quickness of that release, so apparent. Mike Powell, 2-goal run for Syracuse here in the fourth quarter.
Syracuse pushes it up. He'll have a fast break. He's coming in. The slide of Torty comes in and cuts off any fast break opportunity. Great move by Syracuse to push it forward, but Princeton would not let him get a shot on it. Mike Powell again, this time with Davis.
I think Powell's sensing the moment, realizing that every possession, he's going to have to be the guy to draw the double team, to score the goal, to make the play.
Hardy, Dennis Kavich, and number 37 out there, Matt Hogan. Mike Powell, little underneath swim move, lost possession, but he can get the ground ball very quickly. Davis content just to not let him get past the plane of the goal.
Springer's been silenced, had 6 in the semis, 3 in the quarterfinals. He has not taken a shot today.
And he tried to force that one. Liam Banks against Mollett picks up the possession. Syracuse much more aggressive in the fourth quarter, and they've really controlled the ball a long time. 2 goals. Wright unassisted. Powell unassisted. All the way across behind the back by Powell, and that one would have connected. Nothing Tierney could do about that one, but a little bit wide of the pipe.
How did he catch it? Janis Kevich handling the ball behind the cage, and Powell, 22 right there with the ISO, catches that. He's well covered by Davis somehow.
Great body check by Winship Ross. To get inside, Springer can't get the ball off plainly. Let's see if they call in the crease or a push on Davis. Push call against Princeton. And a great series, much like Princeton's to begin the third quarter. Syracuse has done a great job of keeping the ball in their offensive zone.
Just a matter of working hard on offense.
Banks, this is Powell against Davis. Powell just turns and rips one to the corner. He has shown he's put a lot of shots out of the quiver, a lot of different looks this fourth quarter.
The fadeaway jump shot, creating separation from Davis. As we see Princeton substituting some fresh legs in on defense. You had to wonder after the semifinals, Syracuse kind of coasted in the second half against Notre Dame, whereas Princeton, they went toe-to-toe with a hungry Towson team.
Mike Powell going against Davis, pushing himself in. Foul called on Davis. And it will be a hold call and an extra man for Syracuse.
Powell has now drawn 2 or 3 fouls. We talked about his quickness. You should see this guy play on AstroTurf. It's absolutely unbelievable. But Davis will end up hooking him again, right around the neck, right here. Powell takes the late shot. So we've got another extra man for Syracuse. They have 1 extra man goal. Soliday scored in the second quarter from Spencer Wright.
Soliday will start with the ball on the far side. It went for 3 today on the extra man. Kaufman starts behind. That's Springer, the right-handed gun, and Wright on this side. Powell will rotate inside with Soliday right there. He's got a big shot, and he just lands a big laser. Rope for Syracuse, a 1-goal game since the first part of the first quarter.
Soliday with an absolute laser to the near corner. Big, strong Syracuse athletes letting the ball rip from the outside. Soliday on the far side, catches, sets his feet, and it's all about location from about 12 yards. Spencer Wright will pick up his second assist to Soliday, the extra man. Nothing fancy about that play. That's just a guy who can absolutely rip the ball.
6'3", 210, brings 18 goals into this game. And look at Matt Baylor coming up with possession. Ball knocked down. Here comes Syracuse. Great hustle. Searcy, after Bontatis, put the ball on the turf. Watch out, Springer's got a little room on Farrell. Springer, back pipe, and just misses, tying the game. Springer had an open look. Farrell let him get by, and it wasn't backed up. It'll go to Princeton. They've dodged one there.
Desco is absolutely going ballistic because Mike Powell, somehow, it looked like he was closer than Damian Davis, but the referee didn't see him.
Look at Ryan. Molly gets the ball down to the offensive zone and still could be trouble for Syracuse. They've got to get possession. Princeton doing a great job of grinding him hard. Contact made, but Princeton comes up with the ball. Dan Clark getting the great possession for Princeton. Finally, they have it on their offensive end. Syracuse just dominated the first 6 minutes of this quarter.
3 unanswered goals. Princeton really has not gotten in their comfort zone here in the fourth quarter. This is their first legitimate possession. They need to give their defense a break. They are absolutely winded on the Princeton defense. Mollett, Lieberman, and Davis are gassed.
Dan Clark. This is Brad Dumont. Artoffel's the big gun, number 20, left-handed shooter. Dumont with a huge game today. 2 goals in the first 4-goal run. Artoffel, like in the matchup, turns and fires and just pulls the trigger a little too tight. He had a good move on Abentroth and backed up by Syracuse. Mulligan, feeling strong about his second half effort, gives the old first and 10 signal. Momentum swing here in the fourth quarter. Princeton hanging on to a 1-goal advantage. Quint, we knew they wanted to keep it around 10 goals. You talked about it for 2 straight days. They've got the game where they want it, but they're getting a lot of pressure from a very panicked and urgent Syracuse offense.
The magic number will probably be around 10.
Soliday muscling in.
Soliday's playing with a lot of confidence. He's got to be careful not to over-push those limits.
Spencer Wright coming in, dishing off to Soliday. Looking up top, they've got room. Kaufman with the bounce shot wide. Backed up by Liam Banks. They're putting some real hard shots.
They feel a little more comfortable now. They know that Banks is being shut off behind the cage, so you see Soliday drove and turned and threw back, much like Towson did in the semifinals.
Powell's had a little bit of a rest. Here he goes on Damian Davis. Mike Powell. Incredible change of direction. Comes back, looks for the crease, gets it into Wright. Wright slaps it in. We've got a tied game. 8-8. The Syracuse sideline erupts.
Right from Powell, and on the slow motion, you will see Spencer Wright mishandle this ball and absolutely smack it in the goal. Spencer Wright will fill this seam right here, but watch him juggle this ball. Juggles it and then slaps it in the cage, much like a tennis volley. The close-up, you can see it. The ball will pop loose right there, and he smacks it past Tierney.
Almost impossible for Tierney to read that. Timeout called by Princeton as the Syracuse sideline erupts. It's the first tie of the game for the Syracuse Orangemen, the defending champions. We've got 7:40 left with the championship on the line. Exclusive coverage of championship Division I lacrosse. Lee Felsbo, Quinn Kesenick for the final 7:40 of this game. Syracuse is a team known for offensive runs. Quinn, they waited to the fourth quarter to get it.
Down 8-4. It was Spencer Wright unassisted. That made it 8-6. Mike Powell, and then on the extra man, Soliday. What a cannon. Syracuse feeling it emotionally. They're back in this game. We're tied up. Historically, this is a team that ties together goals, and they have just done that in the fourth quarter. 4 straight, playing with a renewed sense of urgency on the offensive end.
4 and 7 minutes. As you look at Mike Powell, he has really been the catalyst when the offense starts with Mike Powell. And you see Springer, who just missed the tying goal before it was canned by Wright.
Spencer Wright has 2 goals. Soliday has 2 goals. They're getting great production out of their midfielders. Pat Hogan has 2 as well.
Chris Searcy, the best face-off guy maybe in the history of the game, comes up with the draw this time. Critical possession. Looking for some help. Gives it back to Mike Powell.
against Davian Davis, the marquee matchup late in the game. Syracuse putting on the backs of a 5'10", 160-pound freshman. Liam Banks behind. They've moved Mike Powell to the crease with Davis. A little different look here. They start him inside, Quinn.
He will eventually pop off the crease and handle. Look at the goals by quarter as Princeton's big run early. They had a goal disallowed that would have made the score 4-0. And then Syracuse's run late, 4 straight now for the Orange.
Powell working from the right-handed side where he can get a better shot. You've seen him on the other side all game. A great check by Davian Davis. Davis has been handled most of the day, but a big check there, maybe the biggest of his career. And he clears easily, strong and fast, a linear runner. And he's pulled down from by Jessikovich, and that is a huge penalty. The first of the day against Syracuse. And Davis, who's been picked on a little bit, made a great play when he had to.
Davis wins this round. Advantage Davian Davis right here. He gets his stick in front. Right there. Beautiful check. Coast to coast. The penalty is going to be a holding violation. Davis, one of the most impressive athletes out here. He's held by Janiskevich. And we see the Princeton extra man.
First time today. So Princeton, after the possession by Searcy, and the ball in the hands of the little catalyst Mike Powell, gets a big play from Davis. The ball back. Starts in a 1-4-1 against the 5 players for Syracuse.
The key guys here are Boyle and Prager inside.
Boyle just came up top as Torty took the ball to the wing and back to Streeper. Prager's inside, number 12. Artafas has the big shot out there. They skip a man. This is trouble to Torty, forcing the defense to slide quickly. Artafas in the middle. Prager's wide open. Prager in close. He gets it. He turns and fires. Write that one up on the board, folks. If you can do it like that, you're going to get a good shot every time. Syracuse, man down against a perfect Princeton EMO to get Princeton the 1-goal advantage again.
Princeton sets up in their 3-3 set. That pass right there, the key. That's Harrington to Boyle, down low to Prager. You got to know that B.J. Prager is the target inside. You'll see him position himself right here. Catch, turn, and fire in one motion. Boyle with the assist, his second of the game. Prager's got 3 goals.
The great finisher for Princeton. Last year he had a knee situation, was not in the game. One of the things that really hurt Princeton, not having Prager last year. This year this team's at full strength and they get the face-off. Huge face-off advantage or win there. Ball overthrown. Sal Bliss with a big check and Ryan's the Princeton player out of bounds, but he'll get a foul for it. And another man up for Princeton. The game falling apart here with 6 minutes to go for Syracuse.
Still plenty of time. Bliss will be called for the push with possession. Hartopoulos hustling to get that loose ball. He was cornered. Bliss really had the right angle on him, and there was nothing Hartopoulos could do except to fall out of bounds when he felt the pressure on his back.
Liam Banks, number 3, just came all the way down. The quarterback of the offense came all the way down and talked to the defense, probably imploring them, just give us one more shot at it. Bring the ball back up.
The outside shooters are Hartopoulos and Torty, and we've seen what B.J. Prager likes to do inside.
This is exactly the way they started the last set. Torty goes to the wing, Boyle comes up, and they open up room for Prager. Let's see if they go to a different option. Torty with the rocket, and a big foot save by Mulligan. He points up in the air. Ball still loose. Princeton looking to maintain possession at a critical point in the game. They have a 1-goal lead. Ball still loose. Bill St. George can't get it. Abendroff can't get it.
Stesson's going to be whistled for a push. Teams now back to even strength. So that ball was on the ground for a good 15 seconds. Syracuse dodges the bullet by killing off that penalty.
But the first penalty, the one right before this, gave Princeton the opportunity to find Prager and get that 1-goal lead, 9-8. Things will slow down a little bit here with the 1-goal lead. Princeton with possession.
Princeton only has 1 timeout remaining, but look for them to kill a minute or 2. Eventually they'll be warned for stalling. I'd be surprised if they go to the goal without being warned for stalling.
Stetson on one side, Schmitz on the other. They might be in a little bit of a zone here. ESPN's exclusive coverage of our Division I championship in lacrosse. Leif Elsmo, Quinn Kesnick. We've got a 9-8 game. Princeton just regaining the lead after the game was tied by Spencer Wright. Quinn, they look like a little bit of a zone going at you. up after our game, ESPN will have another matchup of top seeds when Arizona battles UCLA in the Division I softball championship. Great game with #1 against #2 coming up after our lacrosse battle.
Princeton has been warned for stalling. Syracuse, though, they're not picking up the tempo defensively here. They're letting Princeton chew off time. It's been about a minute already.
McCall looks to get in the ball down. Schmitz gets the ball on the ground. He needs help, though, because Princeton can really ride ferociously. Looks all the way up to Billy St. George. He can't get it cleanly. Bill St. George comes over the offensive end to try to get possession. Finally gets the ball in his stick, but it's checked by Hartopoulos. Finally, Farrell gets it. He can't get it cleanly. Critical possession.
Syracuse wanted a timeout when St. George had the ball, and Tierney uses his last timeout with 3:43 to go. Desco was signaling for a timeout when St. George had the ball in the offensive zone. He did not get the timeout call.
Possession time will be critical. Princeton has controlled most of this game. They have the ball with 3:43 left and the lead. The NCAA Lacrosse Championship was brought to you by PlayStation 2. The Princeton band celebrating what has been an exceptional game by the Princeton Tigers. They get off that 4-0 lead. They lead now 9-8 after Syracuse had tied at 8. Lee Felsmo, Quinn Kessling, our final 340. Take a look at the brackets. These two teams, 1 and 2 seeds, had to fight to get here, especially Princeton.
All season long, people pointed to these two teams having won 11 of the last 13 championships. A lot of young players here. We could see the same matchup next season. What a great finish we're looking at here with 3:43 to go.
A real tough strategy right now, Quinn, for Syracuse, who needs the ball back but cannot open up opportunities for Princeton. Princeton will start the ball in the stick of Owen Daly. Sophomore coming in against Nick Schmitz. Got to stay the offensive end.
You can hear Mulligan saying nothing stupid. A foul would be devastating for Syracuse. So they want to get out and challenge, but you can't foul.
They've got Ryan Boyle inside. This is Brad Dumont, who has been very effective on the outside against Brett Coffin.
You gotta keep it in or what?
Mulligan talking to the refs.
Push, you're good, Brett. Get up right.
Double there, then open. They move the ball out front, open player, but they look for possession. Striebel, not anxious to go to the goal. He wants to keep the possession. They switch up. Striebel, a little bit of room against Abendroth.
Look at that butt.
Double coming with St. George. Somebody's going to be open, and Striebel can find him. They've got 2 players on him. Striebel looking. He finds an open man. Back door, here comes the rocket. Hartopoulos, and he goes wide. Mulligan backs up. Syracuse ball. Hartopoulos cannot pass up the shot. He's a pure sniper, and he got a ball in a good position.
I'm not sure this is a time for this shot, though. Without a backup, this is a turnover. You look at the defense. He shoots it wide. It's deflected. And the hustle of Rob Mulligan, doing it time and time again, generating the turnover because he's closest to the line when the ball goes out of bounds.
This team is not easy to clear against. Brett Walker gets it up, and now with 2.5 minutes left and 2 timeouts on the bench in the ammo holster of Desco, they certainly will try to get off something to test Trevor Tierney.
First midfield back in the game, but they get it to Powell.
Now likes this side. More effective over here, which is normally a left-hander side. Double team comes early, ball on the carpet, and they get a slash call or a hold call on Rob Torty.
Powell has been drawing fouls all day long. He's got that deep pocket. Davis shaking his head. The crowd not agreeing with that one. There's Powell right there.
The slide was exceptionally early. They were not going to let Powell get comfortable.
No, and it was a good slide, too, because Powell did not see it coming. His back was turned. They got the stick all the way down to the grass, but the ball didn't pop out. Davis ties him up. Torty, #1 with the double team. Powell dips down low.
Whoa. Didn't look like much of a penalty there. Syracuse now with possession. They have 6 against 5. This is Springer, the big right-handed shooter, and right. Powell up high. He'll rotate inside. Springer. Kaufman's down low on the far side. That's Soliday.
Tierney will be tested from the outside. Soliday's got 2 extra man goals. Certainly Springer can let it rip also.
Brian Nee, they're very careful with this possession. Brian Nee right there, the left-handed freshman. Got a great shot in close. Spencer White can't get a good shot off. He's decked by Lieberman. Now they're even. They've dodged that bullet. Brian Nee coming in. So the penalty is over. Teams at even strength and time winding down. A minute and a half left. That might be their last shot of the game. Who will take it? Will it work against Trevor Tierney, who's been exceptional in the goal? Swim move. Powell. Back and forth. He's down. Mollet falls. Ball goes. Tierney makes the save. That could be the last time Syracuse gets a shot. Farrell. Ball checked by Soliday, but he picked it back up. And out of bounds with a great ride by Soliday. Syracuse gets one more shot.
Desco wants a timeout. Tierney with the kick save off his shin, and then the hustle of Soliday giving the Orange one more chance.
Tierney shaking his head. What a great final few minutes.
Powell gets Mollet to slip on the back of the goal. He comes around. Keep your eyes on the right foot of Trevor Tierney. Right there, boom, kick save, controls the rebound. But then Soliday in the corner. Right there, the save off the knee. The right knee. Powell, a couple inches away from being a tie ball game.
He went near pipe. He tried to make him into a near pipe shot. Here's Desco. The championship of Division I lacrosse on the line. The defending champion Syracuse team really handled by tempo and strategy for most of this game. That really was a game controlled by Princeton early on. Syracuse had to fight back. Not a lot of games this year they had to fight back. And I'll tell you what, it's been a battle all the way.
I expect Syracuse to initiate with Powell. I think Princeton will shut off behind the cage, so Powell will draw the double team, and then he'll have to spin the ball back up top. And we can expect a guy like Soliday, Spencer Wright, or maybe Mike Springer to take the final shot.
In this tournament, the #1 seed has won the championship in 14 in the previous 30. That means 16 times it didn't happen, and right now the #2 seed is in front.
Syracuse still has 1 timeout remaining. Princeton is out of timeouts. So if this play is not successful, don't be surprised if Coach Desco will call and use his final timeout with about 30 seconds to go.
Ball will be inbounded close to the bench. Powell and Damian Davis. Liam Banks behind. The freshman, 5'10", 160. Davis up top. Kaufman wheeling in. Takes a right-handed shot, but Trevor Tierney makes an easy save. Not a great shot by Kaufman. And Tierney playing so strong all day. The first team All-America may have made the last save he needs to make today.
Princeton's out of the offensive box here. A turnover. Syracuse will have another shot at it.
Inbounds quickly. They do have that other timeout. Let's see if they use it as Kaufman comes across. Less than half a minute left. Timeout by Desco. He saved the timeouts, and he uses them all right here. He has one more chance to get off a shot to tie the game and send it into overtime.
Trevor Tierney has made 2 saves here in the last minute and a half. First against Mike Powell. We showed it to you. Hit him in the knee. And the second one was against Kaufman. Here's a bunch of Trevor Tierney proving to be clutch today. Body shots, you can't beat him low. Powell's been the only one with success against Tierney low. That was a big save with about a minute to go.